Just got this in literally 2 minutes ago, but Fox News can confirm that Iran's supreme leader, the Ayatollah Khamenei, is dead following Israeli strikes against his compound and location earlier today. A senior Israeli official confirming this news. Earlier tonight, Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu describing the strikes not only against the supreme leader, but against much of the Iranian leadership. We know the breakdown in strikes focused on leadership for the Israelis and military targets initially for the Americans, and has since expanded as this campaign is expected to continue in the days and possibly even weeks ahead.
Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, is dead. According to circulating reports, two Israeli television networks allegedly stated that a photo of Khamenei's body was shown at the highest level. Some claims say Israeli officials informed Prime Minister Netanyahu that the body was recovered from rubble after recent strikes. Other posts suggest that former President Trump has reportedly seen evidence of his death. One post even declared, "Confirmation, Iranian Supreme Leader Ayatollah Khamenei is dead and the world is in shock." If true, this would be one of the biggest geopolitical events of the decade. But here's the critical question. Is this actually confirmed? Let's slow this down and break it apart carefully. Over the past few hours, social media has been flooded with dramatic claims. Screenshots from commentators, political influencers, and verified accounts are spreading rapidly. Some of these posts cite Israeli media sources. Others claim that high-level US officials have seen proof. However, as of this moment, there has been no official confirmation from the Iranian government itself. And when something this massive happens, the death of a sitting supreme leader of Iran, it would immediately dominate every major global headline across Reuters, AP, BBC, CNN, Al Jazeera, and state media in Iran. So far, there has not been a unified, formal global confirmation issued across all major agencies. That does not mean the claims are false, but it does mean they are not yet independently verified worldwide.
הבוקר במתקפת פתע עוצמתית השמדנו בלב טהרן את המתחם של הרודן חמינאי. במשך 3.5 עשורים, רודן אכזר זה שלח טרור לרחבי העולם, אמלל את עמו ושקד כל הזמן, בלי הרף, על התוכנית להשמדת ישראל. התוכנית הזאת איננה, ורבים הסימנים שגם הרודן הזה איננו. הבוקר סיכלנו בכירים במשטר האייתולות, מפקדים במשמרות המהפכה, בכירים בתוכנית הגרעין, ואנחנו נמשיך. בימים הקרובים נכה באלפי מטרות של משטר הטרור. אנחנו ניצור את התנאים לעם האיראני האמיץ, לשחרר את עצמו.
Now let's talk about why this is such a big deal. Ayatollah Ali Khamenei is not just a symbolic leader. He is the highest authority in Iran's political and military structure. He controls key decisions related to defense, foreign policy, and strategic direction. His position is above the president. If he were truly killed in a strike, it would represent a historic shift in Middle East power dynamics. It would immediately raise questions. Who takes over? Does Iran retaliate? Does the conflict escalate? Does this trigger internal unrest? Iran does have a constitutional process for succession through the assembly of experts, but a sudden wartime transition would create enormous instability. Now let's address the part about Israeli media. Several viral claims say Israeli networks reported that Khamenei's body was found and that Prime Minister Netanyahu has seen video confirmation.
And we're following developments on the ground here, and just moments ago, Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu addressed his country with an update, saying that the Israelis targeted the compound of Iran's supreme leader, the Ayatollah Khamenei, and Netanyahu goes on to say there are many signs that he is no longer. Again, not confirmation that he was killed, but the Israelis think they were successful in the strike against Iran's supreme leader. Obviously, this would be a massive blow to the Iranian regime if confirmed. He is not only a figurehead, but the man in charge of the entire country. and many of the hardline positions as it relates to Iran's nuclear program and their expanding ballistic missile program that they put into force today in response to the U.S. and Israeli strikes against their country. Throughout the day, millions of Israelis sheltering underground or in protected rooms as ballistic missiles rained down on major population centers here. We watched from this balcony as many of these missiles were intercepted by Israel's advanced missile defense systems. We also know at this hour the Israelis say they are still striking targets inside of Iran. Fox News has learned that this morning, when the initial wave of strikes was ordered, the Israelis launched the largest sortie of planes they have ever launched in the history of their country. 200 fighter jets striking 500 different Iranian military targets, hundreds of different munitions launched and dropped on these different locations. The Israelis are preparing for this to be a prolonged campaign. Military officials telling Fox News that 70,000 reservists have been called up in Israel in preparation for the days of war ahead.
If such footage exists, it would likely be highly classified intelligence material. Governments typically do not publicly release images of high-profile targets immediately, especially in active conflict scenarios. There are also claims that US officials are reviewing evidence and that confirmation from Washington is pending. That wording, awaiting confirmation, is key. In major geopolitical events, official confirmation usually comes through coordinated statements, press briefings, or formal government announcements. Silence from Iran's top leadership structure would be very unusual if the supreme leader were truly killed. But it's also possible that information control is in effect during crisis moments. We must also consider information warfare. In modern conflicts, narratives move faster than missiles. Announcing the death of a powerful leader can weaken morale, shift global perception, and influence diplomatic positioning, even before facts are fully established. So here's where things stand right now. There are strong viral claims. There are references to Isreali media. There are allegations that high-level officials have seen proof. But there is no universally verified multi-agency global confirmation yet. If this is confirmed, it would reshape Middle Eastern politics overnight. If it turns out to be premature or misinformation, it will become another example of how quickly unverified reports can spread during wartime. Either way, this moment shows how fragile the information environment has become. The next few hours will be critical. We will likely see one of three things: a formal confirmation from multiple governments, a denial from Tehran, continued silence while intelligence assessments continue behind closed doors. Until then, everything remains in the category of claims, not confirmed global fact. And in geopolitics, that distinction matters more than ever. We will continue monitoring for verified updates. Stay alert, stay critical, and wait for confirmed information before drawing final conclusions. This story is still developing.